All right, let's get right into it. We spend so much of our lives online, but just beneath that surface, there's this huge invisible battlefield. It's the world of digital crime. A world where criminals don't leave fingerprints, they leave these incredibly faint digital traces. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the investigators who hunt these, well, digital ghosts. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? For the longest time, companies thought about cybersecurity like building a castle. Make the walls high enough and nobody gets in. But the reality now? A breach isn't just a possibility. It's practically a guarantee. So the only question that matters is, what are you going to do when it happens? Okay, so first, let's get to know the opponent. And you gotta forget that old cliche of some lone hacker hunched over a keyboard in the dark room. No. Today, we're talking about a professional, highly organized cybercrime industry. I mean, it is a business, and just like any other business, it has its own tools, its own services, and its own attack strategies. And here are some of their favorite tools of the trade. I mean, look at this list. These aren't just pranks, they are sophisticated weapons. Phishing scams, for example, they prey on human psychology. Botnets, well, they're basically these huge zombie armies of infected computers, all just waiting for a command. And as we're about to see, ransomware is basically a digital kidnapping. Every single one is built for maximum damage. Yeah, let's zoom in on ransomware for a second, because it is one of the most brutal weapons in this whole playbook. The simplest way to think about it is this. A criminal breaks into your digital house, locks all your most important stuff in a safe that only they have the key to, and then they try to sell that key back to you. But believe it or not, it's actually gotten even more twisted than that. So check this out. This is a really clever and nasty upgrade to the whole ransomware game. See, criminals got tired of companies with good backups just ignoring them and restoring their files. So they upped the ante with this double extortion tactic. Now, it's not just about getting your data back. Oh no. Now, the threat is that they will leak all of your most confidential information, your secrets, your customer data, all over the internet. It is a horribly effective strategy. And the stakes here are just staggering. When Garmin, the GPS giant, got hit back in 2020, the reported demand was $10 million. $10 million. But think past the money for a second. For days, their entire global service was completely offline. Millions of people couldn't track their runs or sync their devices. This shows you it's not just a financial crime. It can be an operational catastrophe. So you've got these massive, multi-million-dollar crimes, but the crime scene itself is incredibly fragile. We're talking about evidence that can be erased with a single line of code, or just disappear the second someone turns off a computer. Which brings us to a huge question. How in the world do you solve a crime when your clues can literally vanish into thin air? Well, this is where our heroes come in, the digital forensics investigators. You really can think of them as the crime scene investigators for the digital age. They use science to hunt for clues that are just bits and bytes, chasing down the ghosts that these criminals leave behind in the machine. And the key word here truly is science. This is not guesswork. It's not just poking around on a computer. Digital forensics is a super methodical, incredibly disciplined process. Every single step is designed to make sure that the evidence they find is pure, that it's untampered with, and that it can actually hold up in a court of law. It's all about finding the truth in a way that is verifiable. You might have heard this one before. It's a core idea in all of criminology, but it is absolutely perfect for the digital world. The idea is that every time a criminal touches a system, every file they open, every network they connect to, they leave a little something behind and they take a little something with them. The investigator's entire job is to find those microscopic traces. But, and this is a huge but, here's what makes their job so incredibly hard. Unlike a physical crime scene, a digital one is always changing. It's alive. The most important clues, the ones that tell you what's happening right now, can be gone in a flash. This volatility means these investigators have to work with surgical precision. There are no do-overs. This right here is basically the investigator's emergency room playbook. It's called the order of volatility, and it tells them what to grab first. You have to capture the most fleeting evidence before it disappears. See that data in RAM, the computer's memory? That's like a conversation happening in real time. The moment you pull the plug, poof, that conversation is gone forever. So you always start there, and then you work your way down to the more permanent stuff, like what's on the hard drive. And this all happens in the middle of a never-ending cat and mouse game. I mean, for every single technique investigators create to find evidence, the criminals invent a counter technique to hide it. The good guys figure out how to recover deleted files. The bad guys create powerful data wiping tools. It is a relentless back and forth digital arms race. So, no matter how wild the case is, every single investigation follows these 4 stages. And it has to be this rigid for a good reason. Collection is all about preserving that digital crime scene without messing it up. Then comes examination, where they use all these specialized tools to dig through the data. Analysis, that's the real detective work, piecing the story together. And finally, reporting. It sounds boring, but it's absolutely critical for making sure the findings actually mean something in a courtroom. Okay, so we've seen how sophisticated the attacks are and how complex the investigations are. So what's the big lesson here? What do we do about it? Well, it all comes down to a really fundamental shift in how we think about defense. And this right here, this is the core of it. For decades, security was all about building a bigger, stronger wall, an impenetrable fortress. But today's attackers are just too clever. They're too persistent. They will find a way in. So the assume breach philosophy basically says, okay, let's accept that they're already inside. And that completely changes the game. It shifts the focus from just prevention to lightning-fast detection and response. So what does that actually look like? Well, it means your number one goal is speed. How fast can you spot an intruder? How quickly can you get back on your feet? It means digital forensics isn't just something you call in after the building is on fire. No, it's an active part of your defense team, constantly hunting for threats that might have already slipped past the guards. Which brings us to one last thought to leave you with. Imagine you walk up to a suspect's running computer. You know the hard drive is completely encrypted. Your gut reaction might be to pull the plug, right? Freeze the crime scene? But what if the one and only key to unlock all that data exists for just a split second in that computer's live memory? In that case, pulling the plug doesn't preserve the evidence. It destroys it forever. It's a puzzle that really shows you just how complex and, frankly, how counterintuitive this whole world of hunting digital ghosts can be.